Today's video will be looking at how to find the area of a parallelogram. So let's just review from last week's video. What is area? So area is the surface size of a surface. So if this is my shape down here, I would want to find out what the size of this surface is, or how much space a shape occupies. So if we're trying to find the area of a parallelogram, well, what is a parallelogram? A parallelogram is a quadrilateral, meaning it's a four-sided figure whose opposite sides are parallel and equal in length. So these two sides would be parallel to each other, or these two sides would be parallel to each other. So to find the area of a parallelogram, there is a formula, which is down here. So area of a parallelogram equals base times height. So if we look at this parallelogram here, any side of this parallelogram can be a base. And the height of the parallelogram is the length of a line segment that joins parallel sides and is perpendicular to the base. So in this case, if we look at these two lines here, so this line is our base. This here would be our height because it's perpendicular to the base, meaning that these two parallel lines would make a right angle right over here. So you might be wondering that the formula for finding the area of a parallelogram, which is base times height, is very similar to finding the area of a rectangle, which is length times width. So let's explore the relationship between a parallelogram and a rectangle. So if you look over here in number 1, here I have a parallelogram. Again, this is a shape, a quadrilateral shape, whose opposite sides are parallel and equal in length. So here is my parallelogram. Again, here is my base, and this is my height. So if I were to cut along the dashed line over here, so where the height is, I would cut this off, and then I would see that I have a triangular section. If I were to take this triangular section and turn it around, so turn it the opposite way around, and then bring it onto the opposite side and join them together, I would see that the rest of the triangular shape forms into a rectangle. So in fact, a rectangle is a parallelogram, and so the length of the rectangle would be the base, and the width would be the height. And the area of a parallelogram is actually the same as the area of a rectangle if it has the same base and the same height. So here is your first task. So I would like you to find the area of this parallelogram using the formula. So you have a base of 25 centimeters and a height of 13 centimeters. So go ahead and pause. And welcome back. So I have the information that I need to be able to find the area of this parallelogram. So I have a base of 25 centimeters and a height of 13 centimeters. And I can start off by labeling my parallelogram here to help me visualize. So my base is down here, so that would be 25 centimeters. And then my height can either be over here or over here, because this is where the two parallel lines would meet to create a right angle. So I can go ahead and I can label that in. So if my base is over here, I can draw a dotted line and just label that. So my height is 13 centimeters. Okay, and then I'm ready to go ahead and sub this information into my formula. So again, I start off with my formula, which is area of a parallelogram equals base times height. Area equals, my base is 25 centimeters times 13 centimeters, which is my height. Okay, and then I can go ahead and do the multiplication. So I can do it on the side if I need to. So 25 times 13, so 5 times 3 is 15, so my 5 stays there, my 1 gets carried over. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. I can put a 0 or an x here. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 1 is 2. Then I go ahead and add those together. 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. Carry the 1 over. And 1 plus 2 is 3. So my area would equal 325 square centimeters, or I could write it as 325 centimeters squared. So here is your second task. So I would like you to find the area of this parallelogram, and this time you already have the measurements labeled for you. So go ahead and pause. And welcome back. So since I already have my measurements labeled here, I know that my base is 64 meters and I have a height of 32 meters. So I can go ahead and use this information to sub into my formula. So I start off with my formula, which is area equals base times height. Area equals, my base is 64 meters. So 64 meters times 32 meters. And again, these are big numbers, so I can go ahead and show my work on the side over here. So 64 times 32. And I go ahead and multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. 6 times 2 is 12. Again, a 0 or an x would go here. 3 times 4 is 12. The 1 gets carried over. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 is 19. I can go ahead and add these together. 8 plus 0 is 8. 2 plus 2 is 4. 1 plus 9 is 10. So my 0 stays there. My 1 gets carried over. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So my area comes to, so my area equals 2048. And then I have to remember the meters, so I'm timesing the meters by the meters. So 2048 meters squared, or 2048 square meters. So my area of this parallelogram is 2048 meters squared. So here is your last task, which I will leave you with for homework. So here is your parallelogram, and then in this parallelogram, I would like you to find the base. So you do have the area over here, which is 412 square centimeters, and you do have a height of 16 centimeters. So using this information here, I would like you to find the base, and then we will take this up in class.